Okay, it's 7 o'clock, call the meeting to order. The location of the fire exit doorways on either end of the hallway. Case emergency, the AED machine hangs on the wall directly across from the door. And please silence all cell phone and pagers. Clerk, please take the roll call.
Carl Rock.
Here.
Rocky Ellsworth.
Here.
Norman Vaz.
Here.
Ed Hay.
Here.
Jonathan Vogel.
Here. Okay, thank you. Give a minute for approval of the meeting minutes of August 18th.
Make a motion on the meeting minutes of August 18th.
Second.
Motion made by Carl Rock, second by Rocky Ellsworth to approve the minutes of April 18th, 2025 as presented. Clerk, please call the vote.
Carl Rock.
Aye.
Rocky Ellsworth.
Aye.
Norman Vaz.
Aye.
Ed Hay.
Abstain.
Jonathan Vogel.
Okay, we'll move down to our public hearings. Would you please show a proof of public hearing to the public? Thank you, Sheriff. Okay, we'll move down to Eric Faithful.
He's at work, so.
Oh,
so-
okay.
I come up here?
You're good.
perfect right
You're
there,
fine.
yeah.
Very good. And you're adding, we settled on 10 horses, is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes,
Okay, and you're dealing with healing types of horses,
yes, my sister.
okay?
Sure, was the public notice for 10 or 9 horses? This is 9. 9 horses.
We discussed that, but I
It's
don't
right,
know
it's
whether-
right here on the public hearing to, have 10 horses.
Okay, because this one says 9. I just
Oh,
want
I-
to make sure the public hearing, the public notice
Yeah.
is right.
Yeah, I think
Another
it's
one.
in there. Yeah,
Jonathan Bullock.
we wrote down that, then it was 3, but he was already approved for 6, and then he's now seeking variance at 10 horses.
Does that sound good to you?
Yes,
Yes, you brought in about 9,
yes.
and then we talked about it.
We have room for another, but we don't have another right now, just in case.
Yeah, but that way you don't have
To come back, yes.
You've got the land, you've got, what you're doing is a very worthwhile project. Okay, this point in time, open up for a public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak for or against the proposal, please give your name and address. Hearing no one, I declare this public hearing closed. Okay. One. Whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby property will be created by the granting of the area variance.
Not in that area.
Number 2, whether benefit sought by the applicant can be achieved by some feasible method other than an area variance. I don't know of any other one.
Existing situation.
Right. Number 3, whether the requested area variance is substantial. I don't really know if property has one extra horse, doesn't mean you've got to feed them all. It doesn't mean it. Number 4, whether the proposed area variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood district. Number 5, whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, which consideration shall be relevant to the decision of the zoning board of appeals, but shall not necessarily preclude the granting of the area variance.
He wants it, so it's self-created.
Okay, any further questions? If not,
The only, I have one
Sure.
question. I don't know, and I mean, not to be disrespectful or anything, but should we put a time frame on this, like set a 5-year limit or something like that? Because, I mean, if it doesn't work,
Right.
because if you put the variance on the property, they can always have 10 horses there. And if
Okay.
something doesn't work out with the land that you have,
Right. Okay,
leased to put the extra horses on.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just putting that question.
I think that could be a good idea, because there could be a future owner
right,
that might not be
Always
as
be,
responsible
yeah.
as you or something.
yeah,
So,
And then we've done that in the past, when we were doing the chickens and stuff like that, because, and at some point in time, you may not do this anymore,
right,
so then
Or
you go back down.
just go back to what you,
used to have,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
When, if the 5 years are up to renew, it doesn't cost you anything, it's
Just a renewal.
just renewal, that's all it
That
is.
works for us.
No public hearings unless there's some problem
Right,
other than that, it's not anything difficult. Okay?
I would make a motion, the application of Healing Hearts with Horses, with property owned by Eric Bacold, at 3022 Brick Schoolhouse Road, be granted a variance to have 10 horses on the property. The limit is 3, and so it would be an additional 7 horses. And this would be for a period of 5 years, after which it would be renewable. We've discussed the 5 criteria. There was no comments during the public hearing. And then hopefully seeker. Sorry.
Motion made by Eddie Hayes, second by Jonathan Volkert to approve the area variance for Healing Hearts with Horses for Eric Basil, 3022 Road, for variance needed for adding, going up to 10 horses. Clerk, please call the vote.
Carol Lot.
Aye.
Rocky Ellsworth.
I,
Norman Vaz.
Aye.
Ed Hay.
Aye.
Jonathan Goldberg.
Okay,
thank you guys.
Thanks.
good luck with your
Thank you.
project, it's worthwhile.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move down to Magda Messner, 7884 Newco Drive. You'd like to tell the board what you're proposing?
I was gonna speak for my mom, Stephen Meisner. And, we're looking to put a 28 by 56, pole barn on the property to store household items and sheep tools. I know the last time we were here, there was a concern about being too close to the Grand Pump sewer line. And, the building was 30 foot by 60 foot, we reduced that size. And then we're also asking for a variance of 4 foot on the setback. That will allow us to be 6 foot away from that line. And if we give even a little bit more side setback, we can get further over, which would be appreciated.
What type of building are you proposing?
It's a pole barn garage.
Old barn garage?
Yes.
Okay, this would be of steel siding or other types of siding?
I think there was concern made before about the appearance blending into the wood, so, you know, we talked to the contractor, we can do vinyl siding. So I would do vinyl siding. So I'd like to do a metal seam roof, and there are other metal seam roofs in the neighborhood. And definitely compromise on getting that vinyl siding.
I noticed when I was there that that the sewer line goes almost in the middle of the property, close to it.
Yeah, the sewer line itself, with the green flags, is off to the side and projects along that east side of the property. And like I said, placement of the building, moving it closer to Newport Drive, and moving it closer to the setback, reducing the size, to give us a 6 foot space there. Yeah.
There was a 10-foot line, 10 foot on each side, isn't it, for the sewer?
I thought it was 5.
5 on each.
5 on each side.
Okay.
I think that's what it's on.
Okay.
Um, So you downsize it width-wise a couple of feet.
Downsize it widthwise a couple of feet, and then actually downsize it lengthwise by 4 feet, and then moved it. So because of that, sewer line runs at an angle across the property, by doing that, it gets us even further away from that.
Okay,
So what's the closest corner to the sewer? Multiple properties.
6 foot.
6 foot.
All other areas on that, surfaces, walls, and other poles are greater than 6 feet. And that's with a 4 foot side setback. If we go to 3 or 2, obviously we're gaining that directly.
now whereabouts would you going to put the driveway?
Driveway would come off Nuco, so we had a culvert that would have to be created to make that driveway come right into the front of the lot.
Okay.
And then there's a side portion of it that will extend to the existing asphalt driveway that exists.
I wasn't here last month, so I apologize for not understanding or not knowing. With the building, are you gonna have an eave type of a thing? Or is the corner of the roof gonna be at the top of the? You know what I'm trying to say?
No,
Is the roof gonna come down past the upright?
There's a 1 foot overhang.
Because you're talking about wanting 2 feet off of the property line.
Yes, correct.
So you would ultimately want the eave 2 feet off the property line, because if you put the sidewall 2 feet off the property line, now you're potentially crossing the property line.
Oh, I see.
So, you know, how is that going to
That would be-
affect where you're gonna put your building?
That would be fine. And that would basically the equivalent of 3 foot setback.
You know, you can't build a brand new building and have it hanging over, even though the sidewall is all on your property, but the roof is hanging over.
Yeah,
type
even
of a thing.
with that 1 foot setback, 1 foot overhang, right, with a 2 foot setback, it's a foot before you have to do it. Happy with a 3 foot.
You requested 2 foot side setback. And and over a foot, you're only gonna have 1 foot for drainage issues. Unless you're going to put gutters on that side and bury the gutters or put them somewhere so it doesn't go on the other property.
Yeah, no, so we weren't thinking about doing that, so
Well,
we could
it
go.
might be something to consider.
Right, the 3 foot setback.
Well, we don't have a 3 foot setback, we asked for a 2 foot setback.
We could go further away.
We could go
We-
further,
we
it's
could-
not-
We could
it's
give them 3,
more.
but we can't, yeah.
You can't give
We
them
can't
more.
give them less.
You can't give them less
So
than
if we
2.
advertise 2, we can tell them 3 or
Okay,
4.
okay,
We can go judge that.
Yeah.
okay,
We can go that way, but we can't go closer,
Right,
correct?
Correct.
gotcha, okay, so I make sure,
So,
okay.
Okay, any further questions? All right, at this point in time, open up a public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak for or against this proposal, please give your name and address.
I'd like to start. You want me to
Okay.
stand? You want me to stand?
Just give your name and
My name
address.
is John Baker, I'm at 7878 Newcomb.
Okay.
And some of the questions I was gonna ask have already been answered or asked. I might have it here, notes on this. So, I got a few questions. I'm not really, just questions, and I'm not yes or no.
Okay, that's fine.
The building, one of the things, the building, is not gonna belong to the property owner. It's gonna be her son, and George. That has nothing to do with the owner's property, per se. That's just a concern for you guys to think about. I mean, I'm not gonna, not me, you know. And he already said he, made it smaller, to fit into the size, and he moved away from the property line. Cause we thought it said 2 foot, and then all of a sudden it was like 2 foot, 1 foot gutters, and now you're 6 inches away.
No,
But that would be
in
gutter.
his property,
Yeah, it would be on the adjacent,
further away from
yeah,
you.
east property, but he moved it farther away, so that addressed that. I think that, the biggest problem we have down there is flooding. And, the neighbor to the east, the previous neighbor built a 30 by 50, and after they built that, our yard continues to flood. It floods every spring for like a month, we can't get on to mow it in certain areas. So the concern is, and I know he, Steve, you mentioned, swales, to put swales in to control it. Gutters definitely would help, you know, but there's really nowhere to go with it. So that's where swales will come in, if they can gutter it, take it over, put it, have the swales hold it till it permeates. It's terrible down there, you can't even get to the property when you get out of your car. You know, you're ankle deep.
You got some low areas there.
Yeah, and then,
Cheryl, does it have to go to the planning board to build this? Because if it doesn't, it could be a condition of the variance that the zoning board says they have to go to the planning board to put proper drainage in.
If the zoning board, had proper drainage, then you would have to.
Okay, so that's one condition you guys could put in if you wanted.
okay, and is the driveway part of this too, or, because if the driveway is not permeable, it's gonna create even more of a
We don't have any control over a driveway.
yeah. Well, I mean, you would as far as, because right now you're 20%, well, you're a little less than 20% over the amount of being non-permeable by the roof. It wasn't 20%. I think it's
18.5 with 3.
so you actually went down.
3%.
Did go down, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's slightly above the 15%.
All right, and you addressed the finishes to look like the neighborhood. I know you said you still talking metal roof.
Which is, we have other properties in the.
No, you do, but down farther, yeah.
Just explain.
Two garages, and it's a garage, not a barn. The barn is actually asphalt shingle, like the house.
Yeah, I mean, we're just trying to, you know,
That helps with the water.
we're trying to keep, you know, it's
slows it
a
down.
nice quaint little place, and
Oh, I understand.
we don't want to
Sure.
look like commercial, like a commercial zone, stuff like that. And then, how are these variances, you know, if the conditions are put on, how do you guys monitor the variance? How are we gonna make sure that's actually what's
The
happening?
swales are put in.
So if the board says they want it to go to the planning board to get proper drainage, it would have to go to the planning board, and Cheryl will not be issuing any building permits until the planning board has looked at it, gotten proper drainage design, and she won't be giving them a C of O or a certificate of compliance until someone comes out there and inspects it and makes sure it's done properly.
Yeah, and we're just looking at, you know, maybe things that weren't foresaw. You know, the things, I mean, I thought when, you know, the other neighbor built the other barn, we weren't the owners then, my wife's mother was. And no one thought about, you know, where it gets flooded out. I mean, how many times we do stuff that don't, and then all of a sudden the consequences show up later. And everything from that point, drains north. And then from the north, it drains south, so it all ends up in the spot.
Water always seeks its own level.
Yeah,
Always.
we're not the lowest property here, but we're, you know, we're darn close to it.
Anything else?
No, that was it. I mean, I just wanted to see if these things were gonna be
Okay,
addressed.
all right, that's fine. Anyone else wish to speak? Yeah.
Scott Martin, 1960 Redmond. I know I'm really far away, but one question I did have, you guys brought up the overhang offset or setback from the roof.
Yeah.
Is that overhang offset also considered to maintain that at least 5 feet from the sewer line? It's just something to think about. Obviously, I don't know what your building plans, but that easement extends vertically to space. So it's still something that, like, if you're boring a 12-inch hole to pour concrete into set your posts, that concrete can't be within 5 feet of that sewer line. When you have that 1 foot overhang, that can't be within 5 feet of that overhang, sewer line. So
It
things,
would be within the 5 feet, it would be, the 5 foot gap would be maintained.
yeah, I'm just making sure you're considering that. And the points about drainage, this is, I believe, area 7, which does have issues with water collection, and it does stay wet for a long time. So according to the area surveys, they do agree with the statements that he's making. So some additional things to consider drainage is I think worthwhile to send to the planning board. And what was the height of the building?
15, it stays within the zone.
Okay, because that might, with the views of Lake Ontario thing that's required, it will be an impactful, but I think 15 is under the trees that are existing in the area, so that should be
Yeah,
all
plus it's
right.
on the other side of the property.
The
So, I
views
don't see
thing
where
is
that would
from
impact
the
the
other
lake.
side of the parkway though. It's,
Which is blocked by trees.
yeah, it's just, at 15 feet, I believe you're under the height of trees, so I don't think that's gonna impact anything. But it's also something that's gonna probably be considered if it does go to the planning board, so it's just another thing to consider.
Okay. Anyone else?
I would like to speak.
Sure.
I'm also a neighbor to the west, Cheryl Pizicki, 7890 Newport Drive. Some of the questions about drainage, I'm one of the few properties that have formal drainage while in private on my property. And I can tell you the water runs to me. In all cases, that's where it goes, and that's where the swale's been set. We've had the highway department out a couple of times to check the height moving down the road. And in fact, the neighbors, the bakers, are at a higher point. And actually, the culverts run east and west from it. I know that because the highway department had to dig those out because we had blockage. So I'm sure that Mike could come down and could confirm that. And I think it's important to know that as the culverts are set, those are maintained for everybody. I also know that I just put in the topping on a driveway that had been there historically, and it was purposely permeable. Stone millings went the length of the property. Did not cause any issues with runoff or drainage. And I know that some of the other neighbors, most recently, the bakers have put in non-permeable driveways with concrete. So I'm not questioning the percent permeability, but what I am saying is that could lend to some individual properties of having water challenges. Having been on the property for 25 years, I've been a resident. One thing that's very clear is you have to adjust the property independently on your own to make sure you meet the culvert runoffs, the drainage that you have supplied, and anything else we have with Lake Shore runoffs to the lake. And I think that's something that has to be considered first in each individual property, then look to the other properties around it. So I'm in favor of what they're doing. I think the community that I came to live in is a community of families, multiple generations, and I think I see that as a really valuable part to our community. Spending time together, handing things down, building, continuing to build our community on strength of families. And don't we say, families where the heart is? I think that's where it starts with families.
I'm looking at the map here, and you said you're the neighbor to the right.
I'm directly to the west.
So are you to the east or west? Because it would depend on which way I look at the. Okay, to the west. Okay, 'cause depending on which way I look at the map. Okay.
Well, it is, the whole area there is kind of flat. It encompasses, I personally love tile drainage. because I've been a farmer all my life. And tile drainage does work. Perfect, guaranteed. That may be just a suggestion the planning board could use if it goes for there. I thought that on many times, a lot of people don't listen to it, but tile drainage, it doesn't, it's not messy. Use fluorine perforated tile and take the water. Yes, ma'am.
Just a question, where would you tile it to, given the lakeside and the roadside?
Well, you'll have to shoot it and find out, there's gotta be a low point someplace.
But presumably it would be to the runoff, to the,
Usually they take it, some places they can go to ditch behind, you know, along the parkway. That used to be a nice drainage ditch, but they've never maintained it.
Right.
And it's all gotten filled, and of course it won't drain right. That's where it could have gone.
so it would have to go to the culvert then, I
Right,
guess?
do you have trouble flooding on the front of your house, the lake?
Not since we've installed all the boulders.
Okay, so the boulders hold it back. Sure.
Right. But there would be no drain to the lake Ontario. It would have to be to the culvert side, would be logical.
Well, whichever way.
Yeah, I'm just saying, because you're down by the lake.
You know,
Just curious.
water is going to go someplace, so there has to be a low point. Whether it's a lake, a culvert, south of you, you know, along the parkway. You put tile drains in shallow, and then you can find a place where you can drain into. And it gets rid of a lot of water. Of course, in my opinion, I've only lived there 89 years, so I don't know much about it, but it can be a mean lake when it gets wound up. There's nothing gonna stop the water. I'm sorry, I don't care what you do. The water will stand there temporarily, no matter what anybody, because it gets wild. 72 and 73. If anybody lived down there then, know what happened. It wasn't nice.
Nope.
Yes,
And one more question regarding drainage. Is there a way it could run, whether it runs north or south, either way, would it have to cross the existing street? Or is it not, would that not be an issue? If you had to dig in-ground drainage, to run it either to the parkway or to the culvert, either way, would it have to cross the sewer line? Okay.
I think that if it indeed goes to the planning board, which I think is probably wise, they would, their site plan, they would have to develop a site plan, and that would, yeah, they're gonna have an engineer, somebody that's gonna, survey everything and know.
And they have to control the drainage from their property.
Mm-hmm.
They cannot allow their drainage to sheet off on other people's property.
Would that then be a requirement of other properties as well?
it's supposed to be.
As they're improving them.
And as you're approving them, you have to follow the rules of today. I don't know when their properties were built. I don't know anything about it, so I can't answer that question. Should it have been done that way? If those were the rules at the time, yes. But lakefront property is a very unique set of issues because most lakefront property doesn't have a yard. It's all house, because they're such small lots.
It was originally seasonal.
Yeah, they were originally cottages, so, but the town has to protect the neighbors just as well as protecting you. The town wouldn't allow somebody else to build on the yard next to you and dump all their drainage onto your yard.
Right, so if, during this investigation, if they find that no amount of drainage or swales are gonna resolve this issue, then what?
That would be in the engineer's, I'm not speaking for this board, they can say that they'll make the variance contingent upon planning board approval, and then you have to appease the planning board and the town engineer.
It's a difficult question.
Mhm.
Drainage can be such along the lake.
Yeah, and the trouble there, because it is such a unique environment along the lakeside, the amount of water that you get primarily depends upon how high that lake is and how rough that lake is.
By the way, you build the barn, would it be raised up higher than, you know, is it gonna be level with the ground, your floor?
I think it might be maybe 6 inches with the stone pad that exists there above.
Of course, if you do put gutters on it, it does help, I agree with the folks here.
I personally think that gutters in the soil will work.
That does help a lot.
Yeah, definitely, just so we don't, because otherwise it's gonna marry with, winds. So if winds is gonna come down, yours is gonna come down.
Things we kind of have to look at is there are many garages built down there. And there are of all sorts, all different sizes. And we kind of had to change a little bit of line of thinking. Because today's world, we live in much different than we did 50 years ago. I mean, anything you own, whether it's a mower, something, if it's not undercover, it's probably gone within 24 hours. Because we live in a whole new cup of tea now. That's why we've allowed some buildings being built to house mowers, et cetera, versus setting outside. And if the building built correctly and looks nice, it can look decent, you know, to house a car. Many folks on the Lake Head boats, I think it's awesome.
No, we don't disagree, we just want to make sure it fits in.
Sure, I'm just trying to throw out my ideas, that's all, I'm not telling anybody. I try to work with everybody, or at least we try.
Yeah, after that last big flood we had, it like, a lot changed down there too, it flooded a lot easier. I don't know what happened.
Yes.
So there's been a couple of comments about the lake level rising. The drainage he has to worry about is runoff drainage, right? Not from the lake, if the lake were to flood. So he's just got to manage snow melt and rainwater off of his building. And another question I have, if this were to get sent to the planning board and you guys were to approve the 28 by 56, is it possible for the planning board to, if they do their study and they say, ooh, drainage for a 28 by 56 would be difficult, can they work with him to reduce the overall size of the building to a manageable amount? Or is it whatever you guys send them, that's what they can look at, and then they'd have to send it back to you guys if that
They can
didn't
always
work?
go smaller, they can't go bigger.
Okay.
Always go smaller, can't go bigger.
Okay. So I know you're an engineer and you like to consider everything, so I'm just trying to cover as much as possible.
Oh, yeah, we really reduced it. Yes.
Yeah, I know you guys are working as hard as you can to fit this in. I think you're doing a great thing, trying to work in the bounds there.
Right.
Well, if I get a feel of what the folks are thinking, sounds to me like drainage is one of your premier thoughts, am I right or wrong?
Drainage interference.
I understand drainage, it can be a stinker, no doubt about it. Well, at this point in time, I received a couple memos here, one from Pamela Chambliss. This is my opinion about Micah's son's barn being built on her property. First, it's not for her household use. Second, it is too big compared to others in the neighborhood and will overwhelm that lot. Third, it should look like the house, vinyl sided and shingle roof, so it stays consistent with other barns in our waterfront community. Also, I do not want anyone using my driveway except my family and people delivering to my house at 7874 Newport Drive, Hamlin, Hamlin. Okay? This one is Gwen Flagler. Hi Gwen, whatever FY. They are seeking to be 2 foot from your property. Another one is John reminded me that would put the roof 1 foot from the line and into your tree, and they would be on your lawn and possibly your driveway to build it. And another one is 2 foot from my property is too close for a building that size. I don't want them on my property or driveway while building it.
So that's actually from Gwen, that's her, these
Yeah,
are text messages from the neighbor, I guess.
Yeah,
So
right.
that would be her opinion.
yeah. Just wanted people to know that.
Is there any way you can go smaller with this building?
I have to look at it.
I mean,
We got a lot of stuff that has to, get moved in there, room for cars, that sort of thing.
what are you gonna store in the building?
Possibly household items, also some machine tools. My dad passed away a while ago, and we're trying to consolidate the stuff that he had. He's got a 2-car garage that's just packed full, and we're hoping to move some of that out of there, so my brother can utilize the garage as a garage.
Your brother lives with your mom?
No, my brother has my dad's home.
Okay.
Your mom lives alone, right?
Yes, correct. So along those lines, it would be her property that would be in there.
You're not planning on running any kind of business out of it, or
No,
renting it for other people to store things in it, or anything like that? It's
and that's
just for personal use?
correct. And maybe set up a hobby shop, if one of the other individuals here is another meeting.
Hobby shopping, you're doing a hobby in there, you're not doing stuff and having people come and buy it.
No.
I think that's, we just, you
Yeah.
said hobby shop, and we're like, wait a minute, that's another thing.
There would be, yes,
We don't need to
exactly.
operate a business out of that, it's a whole nother, that's a
Exactly
whole
what the
nother
other
thing.
individual had requested, yeah, hobby shop.
Hey, anyone else wish to speak? I will say at this point. Okay, board. This is an issue that's a little bit tricky, but I think I'm hoping that maybe with some compromises, we can work something out to benefit everybody, especially your neighbors, that you live with your neighbors. And, I understand the need for extra buildings, because there's a ton of them down there, all over the place. Just a question, can we come up with agreement to help the drainage?
There's a weed. We can determine the variances, and then that also include in there, send it to planning board. And that way there, because if we send it to planning board and they do something, then they say, oh, we gotta come back to zoning board for variances. I'm just asking this question.
You can do it 2 ways. You can send it off to planning board now and ask them to provide them with a site plan and drainage, and the planning board to approve it before you issue your variances. Or you can vote on a variance, and if you grant it, you can make it conditioned upon a site plan being submitted to the planning board and drainage being reviewed and approved by the planning board. And if it's not, then the variances are not in place.
I'm just thinking if we could do something so that more like number 2 than number 1, that if we make conditions, then it goes to planning, then they can proceed with their thing and they don't have to come back. Planning says, yeah, we're gonna do it this way, then we gotta give them a variance, and it pushes it out of the number.
Do you have any type of timetable?
We were hoping to have things done before the end of the year, but it's looking less and less likely the way, these conversations are going.
I mean, you know, we as a board, we have to see your circumstances, the neighbors, and the other people in the town, and like Maureen said, every property on the lake is different, every property in the town is different. You know, we say you gave this one a variance, but, you know, why are you giving this one so much trouble? It's all,
Right.
we need to make sure that what we're doing is,
Sometimes the thing I struggle with is how far away does a home or a garage or building have to be before it's not affecting the neighbor? Right, you have to be 2 yards, you have to be 3 yards, you have to be 10 yards. You know, and I'm talking yards of lot size. Lots.
yes, right.
And so it's, you know, that's the thing that kind of bothers me a little bit. You know, so we've got, you know, neighbors that are 2 doors down that feel that they're gonna be affected by the build that's occurring on this lot. Which, again, it's a distance away. How far away do you have to be before you avoid that?
But lots of properties on the lake are not. It's not like my neighbor's 50 feet or 1,000 feet away. Your neighbor's 50 feet away, so that house is only 100 feet away. The lot sizes on the lake are a lot smaller than a normal lot size. It's just the way it is. So it's, you know, the town has to be protective of all of its citizens. I would prefer to see you send it to the planning board and let them take a look at the site plan and the drainage before you give any variances.
And they look at,
And you can table this until such time
Oh,
as,
yeah.
yeah,
we can take a decision.
What's the next
We'll have
planning
that
board
on
meeting?
public hearing.
right.
Next month.
October.
The plan was in the six.
October 6th.
So it would
And then
be,
two
well,
weeks.
they gotta,
Oh, 6, yeah.
October 6th.
Yeah, they don't have the same,
Right.
formulation we have, so it would be an agenda and a public hearing. And then after the public hearing, they could come, within 2 weeks, they can come back to,
it would be back to December.
You'll get it back in December. Can we hold
Because they couldn't possibly send it back for legal variance,
Right. They could say, that's not gonna, you can't control the drainage from that building, you know.
Just like we can do it.
Yeah. It's not too late to put it on their agenda for the 6th of October, right?
or it should be fine, the 6th of October, yes. As an agenda item,
Right.
yes.
Right.
But then you said there's a public hearing for that too?
Yes,
So that it's 2 months
yes,
through the planning board.
yes.
So you guys,
We could see if we could make that.
so,
If they have, please schedule public hearing.
Okay. That would be December, before we even get close to,
yeah,
I'm just telling you, it'll be December before you're gonna even get to that.
there was a different property up by the lake where the variances were passed and it still had to go through the planning board for approval from them. So there is precedent for doing it that way. Now, if the planning board does have additional variances that are required, then yes, he would have to come back, but if they don't, then he would be, I assume, Cheryl, correct me if I'm wrong, good to go after that November planning board meeting.
No, I'm guessing that the planning board is not going to
Not that quick.
give any decision by in November.
Okay.
It would, December at the earliest.
And then within 2 weeks
Yeah.
of that meeting, we should be able to get that variance.
Right, but if you were to conditionally approve them now based on the planning board, which there is, all I was saying is there is precedent for that.
I've never seen a
it-
precedent for that.
The one with that big garage, up by the lake 2 months ago, had to go to the planning board as well. After it went through
I'd have to know the address and look that up. I'll look that up.
So you would have to keep the public hearing open,
Oh, yeah.
because we got 30 days from the date to close it to make a decision. So we couldn't close it until we got a little closer.
I get one underway so something can be done.
Mhm.
I know what the fight goes from board to board. Sometimes gets delayed.
Can't it just go to the October one? I'm just confused.
Oh, it can go to the October one, but the planning board has their own agenda, how they do things. You have an agenda item, and you submit your paperwork, your site plan, whatever, your drainage plan to them. At the next meeting, they hold a public hearing. They talk about it, and I don't think they make a decision until the next, they don't do public hearings and decisions in the same meeting, if I'm correct, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's just the way the Hamlin Planning Board works.
Okay, and
Okay.
they would have to deem right up front in their process that they would require something, because right now, this is just speculative.
Right.
There's not even a say that
So-
he needs a drain plan or he needs any,
Right, so he could take his site plan to the planning board and have a drainage plan on it, and the planning board could say, oh, that's all great, that's gonna work, and you're gonna contain, boom, 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 boom. But, to get to the process, there's several issues, and the board has listened to the other public, and they want to make sure that every angle is covered.
Is it possible for the planning board to look at it and approve it without a public hearing, or once something is referred to the planning board, it has to have a public hearing?
A site plan has that, site plan, drainage plan.
So no matter which road we go, they still would have to have a public hearing.
Mhm. But if they got it and they got it in December, we could do this at a December meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Like big day, yeah.
Well, I think you should, this is my own honest opinion, I think you should, without have a building. I think it's just gotta be done correctly if everybody has that idea, but to say you can't do anything with it, I don't believe it's right either, you know, I'm just giving my opinions, but I want it to be done correctly, so everybody can kind of, we've always been a board of compromise for quite a few years. And I don't think we're gonna stop doing it now here.
I just think this is a difficult situation because of the size of the lot. You got the
And
sewer,
the size of your
sewer
building.
easement running through it. There's drainage problems down there already. We can't add to the drainage problems.
It may delay you, which I'm sorry about, but maybe in the long run it'll turn out to be better for everybody. So at this point in time, we'll ask, public hearing is still open, and we'll postpone it to send the information to planning board. Postpone it to our next meeting, which is 30 days from.
Hold this public hearing for Magda Meisner over and refer it to the planning board for a site plan evaluation to address the drainage issues, the potential drainage issues. With this building.
Motion made by Eddie Hayes, second by Carl Ross, to postpone this till next meeting, sending it to planning board for their evaluation. So clerk, please poll the vote.
Carl Lot,
Right.
Rocky Ellsworth,
Aye.
Norman Vaz,
Aye.
Ed Hay, Jonathan Goldman.
Aye.
I guess we can see you're one step closer.
Maybe baby steps. One step closer, two steps back.
Okay, any questions?
No, I don't.
No, I understand. Just hang in there. Thank you. In fact,
Can I ask a question? What will the planning board require to start your process so that it can be reviewed, whether it needs to be an issue or not? In October.
I will discuss this with Monica and her son tomorrow. So
Oh, I'm
we
just
will know.
curious from the public because I'll likely be in the same situation next month. Because I'll be posting for,
Probably a site plan, we're proposing where the building's gonna be and what the drainage is.
Engineer-
So elevations
elevations.
and all that other
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
need a surveyor to really do that.
Okay, so I want to make sure. Does it have to be certified surveyor or do you just need survey points from a,
It's gotta be a certified.
and any survey that's been done within the past 10, 15 years that with no changes to date would be acceptable?
That's fine as long as it has the elevations on it so they know where the drainage goes.
Okay. That's perfect. Thank you.
okay?
Thank you.
Any other questions? Everybody happy? Of course. No.
One baby step closer.
Okay. Dave and Victoria Graham, 153 Hamlin Center Road.
Hello.
Hello, tell the board what you would love to do.
We're asking for a 2-foot variance and 13-foot setback, or, I'm not really sure how to say it, I'll be honest. But we're putting a garage, barn, shed, whatever you wanna call it, at the end of our second driveway, which is next to our neighbors.
It's a 20 by 25 foot garage. Essentially, what we need is we run out of space in our garage that we have now. I bought equipment, John Deere zero turn, red large, 54 inches. I don't know how that works, but it takes up a lot of space in my garage
Yeah.
that I have now. I also bought a ATV that I use for maintenance around the house, rolling the lawn, pulling a cart, keeping the house up.
Okay.
I've run out of space, I can't park my car in my garage anymore. So I'm looking to have this garage built so that I can gain back the space and I can protect my property in a secure area.
Okay.
So that's right.
What type of building would this be?
This would be a metal building with a metal roof.
Okay,
It would be on a stone pad for now, with hopes of maybe down the road, a concrete pad within the garage.
okay. Well, there's many people building many of these garages of all shapes, sizes, because of where the time we live in, I guess you could say.
And I think you made a good point earlier in the meeting, the times have changed so much where, I hate that, you've got to protect your.
Well, I know, I've been around twice,
investments.
I know all about it, you have to tell me about what's going on around here now. That's why I'm very, thoughtful for folks trying to put up building garages, anything to protect your equipment, because that's what we gotta do, for whatever reason. Any other questions?
I got one.
Sure.
Why do you need it 2 foot off the property line? Is there a reason for that?
We worked with our neighbors on what we thought was reasonable, and what was agreed that, Scott said 6 inches was fine, but we thought, well, go 2 feet, which is allowing for, you know, extra gravel and then,
But there's no reason why you couldn't move it over, say, another, so you have a 5 feet. Because a 13-foot side setback is a very large variance. Like, you know, it's more than a 75% variance.
if you look at the original house, the, what's it called, the septic is in that area. So the closer we get over there, we're
So
gonna be,
that's the reason why, because
Oh,
your
okay.
septic is
Yeah,
there.
okay,
That's
sorry.
what I was looking for.
Yeah.
The maps we have don't show where
Right.
Right.
the leach is. so-
Yeah,
On a
yeah.
sewer.
There's gotta
You
be
don't wanna
a
put a building on
specific
top of a
reason.
Yeah.
leach field, we understand that.
Exactly right.
There's
That's what I
al-
was looking for.
there's also an existing driveway that they want to be able to access through the driveway without turning into it.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be right at the end of that driveway.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
The septic is the main thing.
Yeah, it actually
That's
is.
Yeah.
actually a reason to, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the-
Okay, any further questions? Not open up for a public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak for or against this proposal, please give your name and address.
Rebecca Moshel, 157 Hamlin Center Road.
Okay,
I'm right next door. I, just based on what was given in this write-up, I didn't know, is it on my side, on their side? I had no idea, so that's why I'm here. I didn't know the size of it, I didn't know the height of it. And currently, their garage is like 8 feet off our
off
property
your
line.
line?
Yes,
Okay.
so this is not there, this is on another side, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but based on this, I had no idea.
Oh, yeah.
And,
See where you're going with that.
right, exactly, so if you guys would give us more information, so I didn't have to waste my night, that would have been wonderful.
I would like to add that
But
there were
there's-
47 letters went out to everyone within 500 feet. And once it leaves here to the post office,
Right,
sadly, we're not responsible.
but it doesn't say anything about the size of this building, it doesn't say anything about the height of this building, it just says the side lot, it doesn't say anything, I mean, I have no information,
Well, the
so.
legal notice is usually different. It's a legal notice that you will get in mail.
Well,
So I'm
this
sorry that
came
you
in the
did not
mail.
get it.
This is what came in the mail.
Is that the legal notice?
I believe so.
Let me see. Well, because they're only going for some variances.
Right, but do you see my concerns?
I
We're
see
only
your-
8 feet
Yep.
on my side, but it does not
Okay.
state which
Yep.
side.
Actually, their survey map says that their garage is, up to 14.7 feet off their property line.
But it's not, is it?
That's the survey.
The
That's the
survey map
survey.
says that, yeah.
Okay, well, the fence, well,
The fence is on our property, 2
and then
feet
you
on the
have
other
your other
side.
fence and then the garage.
2 feet
Right,
on the other side of that fence is still our property.
yeah. Oh, on that fence? Okay.
Yeah, 2 feet.
Yeah, it has to be like 2 feet inside the line.
No, not anymore.
Oh, not
Well,
anymore.
you put a fence up, put it on the property line.
Yes,
Put it
yes,
on
and
the
I
property.
know
When
that.
she put it up.
Yeah,
Then,
when she put
it
it
was
up.
in the 90s.
So you can move your fence.
But this is
I'm
why
definitely
I
going
came.
by.
So if it doesn't affect
Always
me,
mountains.
it's not that garage, it's on another side of the
I appreciate you
property.
taking the time to come in. That's
Rebecca,
great, thank
you
you.
could have come over, right?
Oh, no, I've been so busy,
Okay.
I'm hardly ever home and.
Okay. No problem.
I just put it in my plan to go whenever I've gotta go,
But
when
it's
I've
glad
gotta
to know
go
that
there.
you got the legal notice, 'cause
Yes.
sometimes people don't get them and you came in,
Yeah.
so that's great.
Or
Thank
feel,
you.
feel free to email Cheryl, she loves to answer emails. If you got questions ever,
Nothing
just
else.
email
Well,
Cheryl.
thank you.
We all do.
All right, I'm going home and go to bed.
Happy. Everyone else to speak for or against this proposal?
Basically, we're the neighbors on the east side
Okay.
that the line would be affecting. And we've actually discussed all this and.
We're okay with it.
Right.
So this will be on the end of, yeah, but that makes common sense.
Yeah.
You wouldn't wanna do anything that makes common sense.
Yeah.
Well, we tried once in a while.
We
Scott
utilize
doing
the
that.
driveway together, you know,
Okay.
yeah. So,
Looks like
Been this way
they got
for
a
years.
garage that shares.
Exactly.
Okay.
we got the garage, we got the driveway, does it make any sense?
Garage next to garage.
Well, the good thing is we know where the leach field is, now we're good.
That's right, that's the most
That's a
important
huge
thing.
thing.
You know,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, anybody else? If not, I declare the public hearing closed. Okay, I'll go through the 5 things. Number 1, whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties will be created by the granting of the area variance. Number 2, whether benefits sought by applicant can be achieved by some feasible method other than an area variance. And move it on the lease. Number 3, whether the requested area variance is substantial. Number 4, whether the proposed area variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood district. Number 5, whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, which consideration shall be relevant to the decision of the zoning board of appeals, but shall not necessarily preclude the granting of the area variance. Yes. That's our. Okay, if no other questions, we'll move on.
Is that everything? Is that everything? Oh.
They haven't made a motion yet.
Oh.
Oh, please.
We're getting there.
All right.
I'll make a motion for Dave and Victoria Graham, 153 Hamlin Center Road, seeking relief from Town Code 520-27 CA for attached garage, carport, and agricultural, that they're gonna have setback, 13-foot side setback variance, so 2 foot off the property line. And so we had a public hearing, we've heard comments. We've notified criteria, it's a type 2 seeker.
Should,
Say something that
you need a second variance.
Not on this one.
Nope, that's what I was thinking, yeah, I was thinking the same thing too. I thought
But
it
you
was really
might wanna,
motion to see.
might wanna put in your motion that it is a large request for variance, but because of their septic system, they cannot move it any further into their property.
Okay, so we still need a 13-foot side setback variance. Number 15 required because of unfortunately the pond and the leach field that will cause them to have to put it up to that side.
Second. Okay. Motion made by Jonathan Volker, seconded by Rocky Ellsworth to approve the variance is needed for Dave and Victoria Green, 153 Hampton Center Road, for the putting up of extra carport. Clerk, please call the vote.
Carl Lot,
Aye.
Rocky Ellsworth,
Aye.
Norm Boz,
Aye.
and Dave,
Aye.
Jonathan Goldberg.
Aye.
Okay, now you can go.
Okay, thank you.
Don't forget to get your building permit,
Yeah.
Cheryl.
No. So, are we approved to start site work?
Yes.
Once you
Okay.
get the permit.
Is there anything else that we need to do besides getting site work?
Talk to her about what you need to do.
Yeah, I know nothing.
Everything, just come in,
Do we come tomorrow?
you could come tomorrow.
Bring a check.
Okay.
Or not, tomorrow night if you want.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. All right, anything from our legal department?
No.
I have nothing. Cheryl,
I have nothing.
anything? We don't have anything.
Yeah.
We're good.
No.
I came back so I could hear that whole thing.
We're all free. Yeah. Conservation board. Okay, come on, get out of here.
Once this is done, I have a question
for Cheryl, Carol and I vote.
Barring no further business, I move we adjourn.
Aye.
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 Exactly. Thank you.
Okay.